Traditional sweet recipes from Malta, available online at www.traditionalmaltesweets.com. Traditional sweet recipes, creating a small slice of Malta that feels like home.
Welcome back to our last episode of Maltese Down Under.
In this segment, we wanted to share with you some of the memorable interviews that we had during the first 3 seasons of Maltese Down Under. For example, one that comes to mind is an inspirational interview with Marianne Vidal-Potts, an artist who actually started her art after being in a traffic accident, which was quite tragic. For example, Lana and Roger Borge. Mark, do you remember them?
Oh, it was amazing to meet these people. They just do so much goodwill for the people around Penrith.
They founded Mama Lana's Community Foundation, and they feed the homeless in Penrith. There's also Tim Spiteri, who is actually a policeman and who does ocean rowing to fundraise funds for MS because his mother has MS. There are also achievers. There have been a lot of achievers that we have interviewed in our show. For example, I don't know who.
Nikki Bomba.
Nikki Bomba, known for Melbourne Ska Orchestra.
Absolutely, and Grant Cicluna, who's just up and coming filmmaker, doing some amazing work in the film industry. Paul Borch,
who's a renowned artist, really, you know. Yes.
I loved interviewing Deborah Bella. She was just so generous of her time and her stories.
So Deborah is the author of Teresa.
Brilliant.
There's Michael Zarafa, who is only 24, and he's already in the top 15 boxers in Australia. There's also Danielle Arshak, who is a cabaret artist and who had her show just last September called Everyone Wants a Little Piece of Malta.
Which was absolutely hysterical.
Because you actually saw the show, yeah? You did see the show. What about Paul Capsis? Oh my God.
How lucky were we?
Look, he's a personal friend of mine. I've known him for a while, but I never tire of interviewing him. He is just an incredible, humble, award-winning actor who is so humble and down to earth. What about Jason Gretsch?
Yes, you know, rarely that you get to meet somebody like Jason Gretsch who just gives so much. And
who's a fashion designer for those who cannot remember.
And took us into his studio and just let us have a bit of a play. It was fantastic. Another
one that comes to mind is Father Rob Gallia, or Robert Gallia, who is actually a singing sensation. He's been on the X Factor, but really he's known in the Catholic world because he tours really all over the world.
David Shembry.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Great author.
Great author.
And he also draws. His illustrations are just incredible. Another friend of mine, Michael Zamita Ziffa, who actually owns Airwave Studios, and he's the one that actually did our signature tune. And from here, we would like to thank Michael Zamet for the signature tune for Maltese Down Under, as well as George Bayada, who actually did the logo for the show. So thank you very, very much. There was also Amelia Farrugia.
Absolutely stunning, yes. So, you know, we get these wonderful opportunities and we pinch ourselves sometimes when you get to meet these people.
Something that really stood out in Maltese Down Under is groups that are trying to revive the Maltese culture in Australia, and obviously we're both related or linked to this community group. That's NISJA, and they organise the Maltese Cook-Off, so that's been great, covering both cook-offs actually.
Yeah. We kind of bookended the season.
Yes, we did.
Didn't
yes.
We? Yeah. And of course the Maltese Lace.
Aren't they great? This group of about 20 women who meet at Club Barnea Martin, and they make this incredible Maltese lace.
One of the, probably my baptism of fire was Team Malta. Not because of them, but because that was my first time in front of the camera. And they were just so accommodating. It was awesome to see their whole journey and to be part of that whole journey of the Crusaders.
And we thank Terry Atsapati as well.
Terry was brilliant.
And the Malta Crusaders, they were awesome. I think if you look back, Mark, to your favourites, my favourites would be Paul Capsis and the President of Malta. We obviously had the opportunity to interview the President of Malta, Marie-Louise Colero Preca, while she was visiting Australia. So I would say, even though everyone was a highlight really, but those two, for me, really stood out. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, Paul Capsis, because I was absolutely blown away by his generosity as a person and his identifying of Maltese culture, that's the one I've spoken about the most, and probably a personal favourite from recent months has been Deborah Bella. I just loved doing that interview, and I actually had to do that interview twice, because that's again a funny moment of heads being cut off in interviews. So it just shows you that you keep persisting and you keep doing it, and we've just had some awesome people. Thank you for watching this special episode of Maltese Down Under. We hope you've enjoyed it. We have loved bringing the program to you, but unfortunately this was our final episode on Channel 31 and on free-to-air television.
2016 was a great year for us. What started off as an idea over a glass of wine became a reality. It definitely meant a lot of work for no financial gains whatsoever. But the satisfaction of having put together a TV show that showcased inspiring stories made it all worth it.
We were overwhelmed by the positive feedback from our viewers and sponsors, and we thank you for following us and engaging with us through our email, Facebook page, as well as in person when we cross paths.
In less than a month after we set up our Facebook page, we had over 1,500 likes. And to be told that Maltese Down Under was the second most popular online show on the Channel 31 website made us realise that there really is a thirst for such a show here in Australia. And of course, this made us strive even harder to produce a show of a higher quality and standard.
We thank Channel 31 for giving us the opportunity to screen the show for 3 seasons. We thank all our guests for taking the time to be interviewed and for sharing with us their story.
We also thank our sponsors for believing in us and for backing us. Obviously, without financial support from our sponsors, the show definitely wouldn't have been possible.
We thank our editors for their great work. After all, it's your work that makes us look good. Even though not of Maltese background, Fulia, who's Turkish, and Tina, who's Vietnamese, have now become honorary Maltese.
And finally, we thank all our viewers for making Maltese Down Under such a popular show. Your positive feedback gave us more drive to produce the weekly shows.
Rolling?
Before... Sorry. All right, oh dear me. Before we knew it, without even knowing that, oh my voice is... Hang on.
Get the roll.
So, how was it working for
Did you want me to start? I'll start off. Alright, so hi, my name's Sheena. This is for you. Hello. You're gonna fly off me, alright?
DJ 20, of course, now I'm gonna f it up, aren't I? DJ duo Tanisha are not only Malta's most successful DJs, for f***'s sake. DJs?
That sounds Aussie.
DJs?
Very Aussie.
Our next guest is Brian Clark. He's the CEO of AFI. Brian, what? Sorry. Yeah, bloody microphone. So, when you're away in the Philippines or Latin America, wherever you are, who do you stay with when you're at? Today we'll be speaking to David. Okay, yeah. Specialises in the horror genre. So, oh man. Sound still connected?
Sounds so good.
Still good? All right, cool.
Kick was good.
Yeah, an excellent kick. We can use that in the Olympics. Yeah. So we have Paul and Dean from Team Malta here. They're the partner.
Look at the camera.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Yeah.
Close.
It's good. Now I don't feel
I'm normally behind the camera.
I was going to say, you actually make me feel a bit better now.
Yeah, so. The Maltese have had a connection with the local football. The Maltese have had a connection with the local football scene since the early migrant. Sorry, Charles.
Since the early 50s.
Since the early 50s, that's better. Yeah. The Maltese have had a connection with local football since the early 50s. The Maltese have had a No. I always struggle with the start. And then I get, yeah.
And this time it's Saha from both of us. Say from both of us. And this time it's Saha from both of us.